Okay, so for this tutorial, you're gonna need yarn, a crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, scissors, a darning needle, bobby pins, and a measuring tape. A measuring tape is optional, but it does help. This is where things can get a little confusing and you'll need your measuring tape. So first, you're going to measure out your bust. For me, my bust is 34 in inches. And this is just a demonstration. And you're going to subtract 8 from that number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to chain until I reach 26 inches. And that'll be how much the top wraps around you. So if you want a bigger gap in the back, you can subtract more. You could subtract like 10 or 12. But if you want a smaller gap, you can subtract like 3 or 5, just however you desire. I really like the subtracting 8 method. To start your top, you're going to make a slip knot. To make a slip knot, you're going to wrap the yarn around your finger twice. You're going to pull the back loop in front, and then you're going to pull the other loop over your finger, just like that. And then I'll show this one more time. You're going to secure your yarn with a tail. Make sure that you have a tail. You're going to wrap the yarn around your finger twice. Pull the yarn, the back loop in front, and then pull the other loop over your finger, and you're just going to tighten it. Now, to chain, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull your hook through the small gap in between your hook and your slip knot. Yarn over, and my yarn's going to travel with me. Pull through. And you're just going to continue to chain until you reach the number where it wraps around. This is an example of what your top should look like when you're trying to measure it. You want to measure from your first chain to your very last chain, which is off screen right now. But my first chain hits the last chain that I did. I chained around 80 chains, and now I'm going to start working in my chains. To start, you're going to chain up one more, and we're going to be flipping your work. You're going to work in these little humps in the back of your chains. This is half double crochet, so you're going to half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop, which is right there. You're only picking up one loop. You're yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through all 3. Yarn over, that's where your lump is. You're going to insert your hook only into that lump, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. And you're just going to repeat that until you reach the end of your chain. So here, now that I've reached my last couple stitches, I'm going to continue to half double crochet in the back loops. You know you've completed your row correctly when your sides, your top stitches look the same on the bottom, where they make V's, like at the top. Now, you're going to turn your work, and you're going to chain 1. Now, you're going to half double crochet all the way across. You're going to repeat half double crocheting until your top covers the top of your breast to the bottom of your breast. So this is an example of what your top should look like. There should be about a 6-inch gap. This is a little more than 6 inches. Once you've finished your bralette, you're going to turn your work and chain 3. Now you're going to skip this stitch and you're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Now you're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and double crochet in the stitch after that. And you're just going to repeat that all the way down. So chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet. Chain 1, skip this stitch, double crochet. Chain 1, skip this next stitch, and double crochet. All the way down the row. This is what your first mesh row should look like. There should be spaces in between each of your double crochets. Now you're going to turn your work and you're going to chain 3. For this row and for the upcoming rows, you're going to be double crocheting in the spaces instead of in the stitches. So you're going to yarn over and double crochet in the space. You're not inserting your hook into any stitch. You're just going to double crochet in the space like this. Then you're going to chain 1 and double crochet in the next space. Chain 1, double crochet. Chain 1 and double crochet. And you're going to repeat this until you get to the end of your row. Now, once you reach your last space, you're going to chain 1 and double crochet. Now, you're going to turn your work and you're going to repeat row 2 of the mesh part until you reach your desired length. So you're going to chain up 3, you're going to skip the first stitch and you're going to double crochet in the space, chain 1, double crochet in the space, chain 1, double crochet, and just repeat this until you reach your desired length for the top. Now, once you reach your last stitch or your last hole, you're going to double crochet in the last hole and you're going to close off. To close off, you're going to chain 1, and you can take your scissors, cut your yarn, and pull your yarn through and just tighten the knot. Now with this piece of yarn, you're going to weave it in. This is what your top should look like once you're finished. Your bandeau will be at the top and then the mesh will be on the bottom. And now we're going to start working on the straps. So now is where we start working with our straps. The next portion, you want to hang this top up to your body and find out exactly where you want to put your straps. And you can use bobby pins or stitch markers, I prefer bobby pins, to mark where you want your straps to go. So here's what it'll look like front facing. One way to do this is you can count your stitches on each side and figure out how much space you want in the middle to get them equivalent, or you can just estimate like I did. Now to start your straps, you're going to make a slip knot. And you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch of the row at the top. Now, if you remember, we went into the back loops so that the bottoms of your first row will also look like your rows at the top. Now you're going to insert your hook into this first stitch. These stitches are going to be very tight and it'll be very difficult to work in. So I do have a way that makes it just a tiny bit easier. And now you're going to just yarn over and slip stitch and pull it tight. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to half double crochet in each of the stitches. You're going to go back through the same stitch you slip stitched in. And as you can see, it's very difficult. So what I've done to make this feel a little easier is I go in the gaps of each of the stitches. So I just go in between. It doesn't make a difference and it's actually easier for your hook to go through. So instead of inserting your hook in this V where it may be difficult to get your hook, you're going to go in between the stitches. So this is one stitch and this is another stitch, as you can see, and there is a gap in between each of them, and you're just going to half double crochet there. So you can tell your stitches because they make a V shape at the bottom, and you're just going to separate them, if you will, and half double crochet in the gap right here where my nail is peeking through. So you're going to yarn over, find where your gap is. This is one stitch and this is another stitch. As you can see, one stitch is right here, my other stitch is right here, and it's in between, and I'm just going to half double crochet. Now, if it is too difficult for you, you can always do it the regular way and go through the stitches. I've just found this to be a faster and easier way to get my hook in and out of the stitches. Now you're going to repeat this all the way until you get to your bobby pin. Now, once you've gotten to your last stitch, you half double crochet, and now I'm at my bobby pin. As you can see, my bobby pin is in a stitch, so I'm just gonna go into the space in between. This won't really matter if you choose to go in the one before or after. I actually think I'm gonna go in the one after the bobby pin, so in between the stitch I put my stitch marker in and the one after it. I'm going to remove my bobby pin and I'm going to half double crochet here. Now I'm going to chain up 120 chains. This sounds like a lot until you realize what we're going to do with it. Now this is 120 chains. You can choose to chain more. I wouldn't recommend chaining less because this is going to go through your back and going to be what holds your top up. So I'm actually going to chain 5 more just in case, because it's better to have more than to have less. I'm going to chain 1 more and I'm going to work in the back loops. It doesn't really matter if you work in the back humps or not for this, but you're going to slip stitch, skip your chain from your hook, and you're going to slip stitch all the way down. Another stitch that also works is also a single crochet stitch, if you don't want to slip stitch all the way down. It doesn't make a difference either. I just prefer the slip stitch for my straps. When you get back to your row, you're going to half double crochet in the same stitch you started in. So your base to your strap should look like this. Now you're going to continue to half double crochet all the way across again until you reach your next bobby pin. So now I'm nearing my bobby pin. I'm going to half double crochet, remove my stitch marker, and in this next stitch, half double crochet and chain up 120 chains. Once you reach your 120 chains, just like the other strap, you're going to repeat the same exact thing. You're going to slip stitch or single crochet all the way down your strap, and then you're going to half double crochet in the same stitch that you started your chains, and from there you're going to continue all the way to the end of your row with half double crochets. Now I've reached my last couple stitches. This is my last stitch. It doesn't look like. There we go. I am going to chain 1, grab my scissors, cut my yarn, and pull through. Now I can weave this yarn in like I did all my other pieces, And be sure to also weave in your starter yarn and all your other pieces that you ended off on the end and your starting chain. At this point, your top is done. I'm just going to show you how I weave in my straps. So first, I cross one strap over the other in an X motion, and I'm putting my first strap, into one of the rows, the ends of the rows, so like a small gap, like this one at the end. And I'm going to repeat it on the opposite side. Now I'm going to just work my way down. Remember that they don't need to go through every single row. You can skip a couple rows like I'm doing here. I'm skipping 4 to 5 rows, and I'm just pulling my strap through. Now, the good thing about this is that you can adjust them however much or however little you'd like. So if the straps are too tight, you can put them up more toward the top and loosen them. And if they're too loose, you can add more inserts of straps and tighten them. And just like that, your top is done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to push that notification button to get notified every time I post. And comment down below any tutorials or anything you'd like to see next.